an incredible mark for Nikki Collins' team, and we are underway. Texas in their familiar burnt orange uniforms coming in. High expectations for the Longhorns, ranked number 3 in the preseason, and they fell out of the poll for a while, now back at number 25, and there is the first shot of the game, and it lands for Sonia Morris, and they relied a lot on the 3 in a loss to Texas Tech in their last game. Vic Schaefer wanted them to go inside. They did not, and they fell. Caitlin Bickle trying to get the ball inside, and the ball turns over.
Well, one thing you have to do, you can't start the game with a turnover. I mean, coaches are in the locker room. They've scripted their first 2 or 3 plays, and the play action to set the tone is determined by what quick hits you set, and right there you had the turnover. But Texas, I like the patience that they had in their first segment there, where they were able to run some pin down action, and you're going to see the ball move from left side to right side. So player movement, ball movement, and spacing is going to be key.
There's Roy Harmon, number 3, the most important player on the floor. Gaston finally healthy with the miss. Dealing with a little bit of an injury on her ring finger of her left hand. It says she's okay.
Texas defensively, one of the best defensive teams in the league. They're known for drawing charges right there. Obviously, that's a block call, but they're going to either take a charge or fake a charge.
Yes, that is kind of the MO for that. And Vic Schaefer, known as a terrific defensive coach. We all remember him, the incredible job he did at Mississippi State, going to a couple of finals. And before that, a longtime assistant to Gary Blair, both at Arkansas and at Texas A&M.
Well, as we were talking to Coach Collins, she said, I've got like 4 press offenses to go against his defense.
Yeah, it's something to behold.
Well, you obviously see the dribble penetration here, and great help coming over and a huge block.
And Gaston, who did indeed get that block, as we said, struggled with injury. Coming out, even in high school, had been banged up a bit, was the number 1 overall recruit coming out with her class, and finally is getting healthy. Bickle left it well short, but it's chased down by Little Paige Buggs, who's a very promising freshman for Baylor.
Yes, I like the intensity here. And I think that Texas right now, settle in, go back to an easy look, maybe go inside and get some paint points, because that's important to the success of Vic Schaefer's team.
But already a couple of turnovers for Nikki Collins' team. Collins in her second year coming over after being a head coach in the WNBA at Atlanta. Harmon tried to get that no-look pass inside to Fa. Bickle with the great pass by Jordan Owens.
Turnovers lead to transition basket, and you have to take care of the basketball. And I saw what Harmon was trying to do. Players need to come and meet the pass.
Harmon slithering around the baseline and then took a hard fall along with Owens.
You got 2 teams that are familiar with each other, and they know what's at stake.
Owens called for that foul. Everybody appears to be all right. The most important thing is another turnover. This time it's a travel.
Typically 9 times out of 10, Pam, they're setting a ball screen.
That was Morris called for the foul. Harmon almost got the takeaway and just hounding Sarah Andrews all the way up the court. Jamie Asbury gets it over to Bickle, around the horn to Andrews, who's their 3-point threat.
I mean, Andrews handling the pressure, going up against a very good defensive player in Harmon. You know, one of the things that Coach Schaefer talked about was getting in the paint, and nice little take there by Gonzalez. I think the paint points are going to be key for Texas.
She has been a workhorse. She has only missed 6 minutes of action in Big 12 play. Bickle might have gotten away with a little bit of a hop. But the ball didn't go in.
I think Texas right now, get back to your dribble penetration action. Trying to get in the paint. I think that's where they're going to be most successful.
National Player of the Week recently. Bickle, nice roll to the basket. Couldn't get it to go in.
Right now, Texas is doing a nice job defensively of only giving them 1 shot. They're rebounding the basketball, not giving them second and third opportunities.
Pickle tried to draw the foul. Gonzalez rescues it. Gonzalez, a transfer from BYU, her first year at Texas. Nice move by Harmon.
Just composure. Her ability to get to her sweet spot, and I think she read the defense correctly. Like, she got there to the elbow, elevated, and then came off of two.
There's a nice pass by Bickle, and the second effort by Little Paige Buggs results in the basket. True freshman out of Edmond, Oklahoma, leads the nation in rebounding amongst all freshmen at 9 per game. Good look inside, and that's Taylor Jones, who had missed some games earlier. And Baylor running the floor.
You know, you look at Baylor, transition offense, getting the ball out quickly down the floor. Texas has got to get back.
And Baylor dropping out of the top 25. The first time in about 20 years. There's another turnover.
Look at when you're talking about your offensive execution is, are you in flow? And when you're turning the ball over, and these are unforced turnovers, these are you individually doing, it gets you out of the flow of your game.
Whoa. The response, Sarah Andrews. Harmon cut off by Asbury. Shea Holly got
her ability to, again, see the floor, see what the defense, because she's going to command that help side.
Andrews, who has a couple of threes today, missed that one to the right.
She talked about her increasing her hydration and that she's now taking the time in recovery and spending the time in the weight room. And you can just see how she's evolved from this high school player. I remember seeing her and playing high school to now physically being, you know, fit and at a level where she can endure and go as long as she needs to for her team.
Yep, waning seconds of the quarter. They're going to need Harmon. Almost nailed the three. And after 10 minutes of play, we are tied up at 12 apiece. Treatment and cure for Alzheimer's, the disease that took Pat's life way too early. And Nikki Fargas, my broadcasting partner today, you played for her, won the national championship, and got to coach with her. So you had a very good view and got to, I'm sure, learn a lot from Pat.
I did. I got to know her in so many ways, and there's a code of conduct that we lived by. There was a way that we did things, and you heard Coach Schaefer talk about, you know, how the intensity that we played with, and I think Pat is someone too. There's 161 of us who played for her, and during that time, it was unpopular to have women in leadership role. And so we had an athletic director in Joan Cronin, our head coach, Pat Summit, our sports information director. Excellence is only one word that I can sum her up, because she exemplified that in everything that she did.
Bickle got fouled on her way to the...
I can recall when I was coaching and how many times, you know, Miss Katie, and she would take the time and not have anyone else sign her autograph. It was her autograph. She was very authentic.
Provide daily care, unpaid, to help. It's a great organization, a great foundation, and the shooting shirts that Baylor are wearing to honor Pat.
You know, that's one way that you keep some of these legends of the game alive, is by telling their stories. Are there for those who sacrifice and those who are also with the caregivers. I think that's equally important to recognize the work that they do.
It takes a toll on everyone in the family, and the foundation is going strong, and Pat Summit's legacy lives through that. Shot clock is dying, but just enough time. Bella Fauntleroy. Now, this is a true freshman who doesn't, when you look at her, especially physically, she looks like a grown-up woman. Gaston posting up, going strong to the basket.
Also, when we asked about what is it going to take for this team to really be successful, and she and Rory Harmon talked about leadership. They talked about they're going to have to step up, and they're going to have tighter huddles.
they had a lack of focus, not enough urgency when they lost to Texas Tech in their last game. Big basketball game coming your way from Thompson-Boling. An hour before, and nice that rivalry has been rekindled. And talk about injuries. UConn. I mean, they're still winning.
Yes.
The Big East, not so awesome. The other team's in it. But AZ Fudd came back perhaps too early, so she's out again.
I think that's a testimony to the system that is in place at UConn. And when you've got, players that are, and this is unprecedented for that many players to be out at one time. But, healthy UConn, it's going to be really interesting to see.
Here's Gaston back at the line.
Now you're getting there in this game, and you've been there. They leave 5 people around the basket. They don't send anybody back because they're going to try to set their defense. And so all those loose balls, those 50-50 balls, they have their guards in there. But when you have your post players, Gaston in there banging, keeping balls alive, tipping them, those are those 50-50 balls that you got to come up with.
Texas has missed 4 straight shots from the floor in 6 of their last 7, and wipe that off the board. Morris with a nice move into the paint. And a quick shot by Andrews on the other side. Sarah Andrews with her 3rd 3 of the game. That's her 5th shot, and if that's on Bickle, it is. That is the 2nd on Caitlin. Timeout here with Texas up 3.
Yeah, who cares it's her birthday? I mean, everybody has a birthday.
Yeah, Carolyn
so
Peck.
What makes hers any special than anybody else?
Pretty good player for Iowa.
I mean, great player for Iowa. And, Carolyn was an all right player.
Leading Baylor, even though, as Drea mentioned it, boy, the turnovers, Baylor over half of their points coming off of the 9 Texas turnovers. Rory Harmon had just hit a couple of free throws, bringing the ball up. Neither team lighting it up from the floor, shooting around 30%. Gaston just absolutely envelops, and Bickle gets it out of there, and the finish on the other end.
Now fast break points 9-1 in Baylor's favor. That's been their best defense. I mean, that's been their best offense.
And they get another turnover. Asbury's fast. Couldn't get it. Little Paige Buggs hustling.
After that timeout, there's no telling what was said, because right now you can see their defensive intensity picking up, and this crowd is getting involved.
Shot clock into single digits.
This is the player you want to have the ball in her hand. I think she's someone who can definitely create. Now Texas gets this stop right here, and they go into the half up 1 over Baylor, 23-22. When Texas is leading at the half, they are undefeated. They are 13-0.
And they're going to get the ball back. And it's also remarkable that they have the lead, considering how many turnovers they have. They haven't scored in 3 minutes. Harmon drew the foul with point. Got 1 out of 2. Texas, despite not shooting the ball well and turning the ball over often, take a 24-22 lead into the locker room.
9 points in transition, while the other area that they're doing a great job too is points off of turnovers. 14 points off of 12 turnovers.
Little Paige Buggs had a great look at the rim, but was unable to get it home. And then the finish on the other end. That's interesting because you see Taylor Jones starting the second half. Did not start the game for Vic Schaefer for Texas.
I don't think that's uncommon for Vic Schaefer to look to go inside, and Jones has done a great job just then of finishing. And you're going to have players that can put the ball in the hole, but it also starts with Rory Harmon. I think she's the key to this whole offensive execution for Texas.
And Jones starting for 5. Pi only played little over 2 minutes. He picked up a couple of personal fouls, and that led the way for Taylor Jones to come back in. Another turnover. Harmon in front of everybody. Bickle's not going to stop. Good hesitation by Harmon.
She felt the pressure coming behind her, and that's where she did a nice job of hesitating and stopping. The one thing that Baylor is doing that Texas has got to do a better job of is that they're sitting there 2 guards and they're streaking them down the sideline to spread the floor. So defensively, transition defense, when you're sending all 5 people to the boards and they clear the basketball as Baylor does, then you're not going to be able to get back in transition.
And Taylor Jones already with a couple of quick baskets, but then beating him down the floor, it's Asbury. Outside shot is hit. That's the first 3 of the game. Texas has come out of the locker room on fire. They've outscored Baylor 9-2. In this quarter.
I think she is the floor general, and she's the one that makes them go offensively. Her ability to see other teammates, that was a nice shot for her. But that long pass, they picked it off a couple of times now.
Gonzalez off the back iron, but rebounded her own miss. Morris, good look. Nikki Collin electing not to call a timeout. Andrews. Got it. Just what they needed. 3 stops and 11-2 Texas run to start off this 3rd quarter. Gaston, very good look.
That was a nice, smooth jumper right there at the free throw line. But as you can see, one of the things that Baylor, I wonder if you timed them, they're getting the ball across the court, across half court.
Got her degree from Oklahoma State.
And I think when you look at the production from the paint versus the perimeter game, they were forcing Texas to become this perimeter shooting team, and I think that really disrupted them. And now Texas is getting everything that they want in the paint, and that's been key for them.
Gaston with another basket. Andrews fouled.
To keep this game in reach and not let Texas run away with them with double digits there. And this is going to be a key possession for Baylor right here.
Good play by Fauntleroy to keep the possession alive after the missed free throw. Bickle fakes the 3, then Gonzalez. Baylor's the only team that's beaten Oklahoma in Big 12 play. In that game, she had 5. That is her 3rd.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be key moving forward for Texas, is keeping players on the floor. They've done a nice job. You look at Andrews and what she's been able to do with 5 points. And when you go to a zone, you better find Gonzalez, because she can really score the basketball from the 3-point line.
Good defense by Bickle, who came up with the rebound for the Bears. Andrews rescued that pass and lost it. Here's Harmon. Muhammad, guarded by Bickle, puts the shot up, and Bickle gets the rebound. And then a great outlet. Andrews on the go. Knocks it in.
I didn't think that she was going to be able to run the basketball down, but it's almost like she went into another gear to get there. Again, Andrews is putting everything on the line for this Baylor basketball team.
Biggest lead was 11 earlier in this quarter.
Although a team plays you zone, you cannot be stagnant. You still got to get into the seams and get into the gaps like there. Harmon did a nice job of still penetrating the gaps. When a team plays you zone, you tend to think, oh, let me just keep moving the ball around. It's kind of like that windshield wiper type offense, right? But the thing that Harmon needs to do,
I think it comes from like a hunger of being on the court. It gets, when they start asking you like what position you play, you become positionless, because like wherever you need me, wherever you want me to go. So my freshman year I played the 4, sophomore year I played 3, and junior and senior year I played point guard, and just being positionless. It's fun in New York as well. There's so much going on out there, so I just stay busy, whether I'm on the court or off the court.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to do there, right?
Absolutely.
A little different from Waco.
Oh my gosh, night and day. I went from nothing to everything in like
Waco
5
has
seconds.
its own charms, but there's no city in the world like New York. What are you seeing in this game here? You're as a great defensive player. We're seeing some defense here.
So what would you have said?
Turnovers.
Yeah.
No, they have turnovers are bad, and it's unforced. So I'm like a Caribbean foodie. I feel like I tried oxtails for the first time. What? Like lamb chops too. So it's this place called Simpson, right by Barclays. Enjoy it. Best food ever. I hope they hear me saying this too. Give me a free plate or something.
Endorsement.
Playing Texas, you had Ariel Atkins, Joyner, Brooke McCarty. I couldn't wait to play them. It was exciting. They were fun. It was a fun game.
And I remember, so Pam, I tried to recruit this one to leave the state.
Never lost to University of Texas in my life.
Oh, that's a good one.
I have not, and I don't plan on ever having.
Baylor had owned Texas in this rivalry recently. We're speaking with Dee Dee Richards, and you've been gone, what, 2 years?
2 years. So many new faces, coaches, and everything.
Well, that hasn't, Pam and I were talking earlier about, you look at rosters now, and you've got players who've transferred, and you've got players now that played on one team, and then they're here. And,
absolutely.
That's something that's probably why you're seeing some unfamiliar faces at this time.
It's like unheard of whenever I was here transferring. It was almost like a crime to transfer whenever I was in college. Now it's the new fad. Like it's trendy. I'm a transfer this year too.
Gaston just hit that. Oh, it's a 14-point lead now. Texas having a strong third quarter.
She can stretch the floor too, so it's fun to watch her play.
Now you played with Caitlin Bickle.
I did. And what?
Oh, there you go. Van Gutenbeek.
I want to scream, you guys. I have this headset on. I mean, it's just being able to recover. I mean, you have to hustle. Defense is all about heart, and that was what Say had in that moment, Sarah. So, and that's, first off, her freshman year, that girl, I'd be like, Sarah, you got to get back. So I'm happy to see her play defense. I would beg Kim to put her in.
Well, talking about Kim, they're having it's like this game is a game of run.
Absolutely. That's what basketball is about, and just being able to take everybody's hit.
Now, when you came here, when you were a freshman, were you playing defense from day one?
I don't know. They're going to put me out there. Let's see.
And not only did you do that, but you developed into the best defensive player in the Big 12 and the National Defensive Player of the Year as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Good going.
Making that jump to the next level, what would you tell some of these young ladies who are looking to play in the WNBA as college students right now? What advice would you give them?
Honestly, yes! I'm sorry. That's a great bucket.
But Gonzalez counters on the other end. So Van Gutenbeek with the three, the Gonzalez three. Dee Dee Richards, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to see you again in New York.
A UConn team that had Rebecca Lobo, and you had those players that came before the Sue Birds and Diana Taurasi's. But you're only talking about great players. You had Shamiqua Hosecall and Tamika Catchings for Tennessee. And it was a period there, like a decade span, where either Tennessee had won 3 titles, and then UConn comes, and then they're winning, and then you saw Parker rise up and dunk the basketball there, and that was at UConn. Then Tennessee reeled off 2 more championships, so it's going to be an amazing matchup.
Yeah, it always is, and it was dormant for a while, and we're glad that it's back, and that we will have it for you on Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun there at Thompson-Boling, as they say there. Off glass, Rory Harmon. Baylor with 6 threes. Texas just 2 of 11. But in that third quarter, in which Texas got some separation, they shot 55% from the floor.
You can see now that Coach Schaefer is going to his quick hits. He wants to get Harmon involved offensively. And there she goes off of that high ball screen action. If you're not lending any help, when Harmon turns the corner, she is going downhill, and she has the strength to take the contact if need be, but also the smart and the brilliance of her game to create the separation to get her shot off.
And remember, Rory Harmon's only a sophomore.
Scary.
From a role player to a very important starter. Second in both scoring and rebounding this year. Tried to draw the charge, and she did. Wow. And a week from today, Rory will turn 20. She told us she was so excited. I'm not going to be a teenager anymore.
Well, Rory, you do not play like a teenager.
No. Wow, Asbury with another three.
You have got to get stops. That you cannot keep trading baskets with Texas. They have answered every run that Baylor has made, and right now this game is about stops and scores for Baylor.
Phi, who got into foul trouble early in this game.
They're going to need more of that in order to cut back into this lead.
10 of those 12 points coming in the second half. Phi just picked up her third foul. Gonzalez with the block shot as Asbury was trying to get one over again. Harmon slowing things down.
It was interesting when Coach Schaefer talked about the fact that they may change up their defense, and he said we're going to work a little bit more on our offensive execution versus the zone. And as you can see, they're 2 for 2 these last possessions.
That brings Taylor Jones back onto the floor. Jones started for Phi here in the second half. Taylor missed 9 games earlier this year, had a stress reaction, and had to rest that for a spell. Andrews off balance.
This is where Vic Schaefer is at his best, directing and going into his quick hit action and letting his All-American Harmon go to work.
Let that go out of bounds. And you see Harmon's numbers. Looking for her more in the second half. Morris, terrific. That's an assist for Rory. Morris, a transfer from DePaul.
You've got scoring in Jones, and this has been a
really early rounds of the Phillips 66 Big 12 Women's Tournament. Now on Big 12 now. They will play each other again. Texas will play Oklahoma twice, including in Austin on Wednesday. That is a revived Oklahoma program. Sonny Morris.
You played tennis before?
Horribly.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Much respect. I mean,
yes,
I can't even control the ball. Like,
no.
It's gone everywhere. I mean, it's out. It's out. It's like not even in play.
And it's Taylor Jones who started the second half in favor of Khadijah Phi, who has 4 fouls herself. So Bickle at the free throw line. Player that barely played her first couple of years. When she's not on the floor, Colin says that's a big difference.
It is. It's like not having Rory Harmon on the floor for Texas. But you know what else she is? She's her best rebounder, too.
Very valuable. The grad from Arizona. Here she is on the other end. And meanwhile, Harmon behind the play. She is being attended to by Rosemary Regal there. Texas holding on to the 64-55 lead. Baylor just committed its 19th turnover. Texas has 18 of them. Big story in this game. 22 of Baylor's 55 points have come off of Texas turnovers. And now they've got to try to close this out with Harmon on the floor. A couple of offensive boards. Gonzalez with the finish. And Baylor throws it away yet again.
Wear the clock down. Don't take a shot till around the 8, 7, 6, because there's not enough time for Baylor to make up, even if you don't get a shot off.
Yes,
with a minute 5 left.
Yep. And they just get one off. Holly, that's your dagger. Texas trying to hang on and beat Baylor in back-to-back games for the first time in 13 years. Last time they met was in the Big 12 championship game, and Texas won that one.
That was a great look, great play action, and that's what you look to do. Right now, you need to foul. No one's fouling. You got to foul at this point.
And Pickle's trying.
She's trying.
More like for the steal than the foul.
Yes.
Now Fauntleroy.
Interesting fun fact for Texas: when they're holding their opponents to 59 points or less, they are 12-0. And so they're at 54.
Had a great second half for Texas. top 10 in points and made threes in Blue Demon history. Jeremy Rosenthal, Texas's sports information director, and he's at Fine Baker as well.
I think he's going to be on the Food Network channel one day. So
hard, long hours, and whatever you need. The good ones like Shelby and Jeremy are always there for you. They make our jobs a lot easier.
Well, they met us at, 8:15, 8:30 this morning, and everything that we needed, they delivered. And I didn't even know about this cooking. This cooking. Yeah. I need to come back and see you more.
You got to get out on the
road. When I hang out
more.
with you, this is what happens.
Yeah, we get the base goods. It's very important. Rick Schaefer, a lot of respect for Nicki Collen. Big win for Texas, making that Oklahoma game on Wednesday even more important.